Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex stuff, break it down, and give you what you really need to know. Today, we're jumping into something that, well, often gets ignored in contracts, but it's absolutely critical. It's what happens after everyone signs on the dotted line. We spend all this time drafting, negotiating, getting that signature perfect, right? But then the actual work, and honestly, sometimes the real pain, starts. And the challenge here is pretty huge. Just think about managing all those ongoing promises, making sure you're compliant with every single clause, tracking task after task. It's not just complicated. It eats up time, drains resources, and it's super easy for mistakes to creep in, like planning a massive event and then forgetting all about the cleanup and the follow through.
That's a great way to put it. So many companies pour energy into getting the deal signed, but then stumble on the follow-up, the post-execution part. And what gets missed is that's where the real risks often pop up. Missed deadlines, compliance fines, which can be serious money, or even penalties because you didn't deliver. And maybe just as important, it's where you miss out on chances to be more efficient, more strategic, maybe even find new revenue. It's a major blind spot for a lot of organizations.
Exactly. And that blind spot is why we're really digging into this today. We've been looking into a solution called Apperant. And this isn't just another place to, store your contracts digitally. It's actually built to help you get the most out of your contracts using intelligent automation. So our mission for this deep dive is simple. Pull out the key insights on how Apperant helps streamline that whole post-contract phase, give you a real shortcut to understanding this innovative approach. Okay, let's get into it. All right, let's start with the basics. What's the core idea behind Apperant? What's its main promise when it comes to managing contracts after they're signed?
Well, at its core, Apperant is really about streamlining that whole process, tracking obligations, making sure you meet compliance rules, managing all the tasks that come after the signature. It's essentially designed to bring structure and efficiency to what's often just a chaotic manual effort.
Okay, streamlining sounds great, but how does it actually do that? What's the tech or the approach that makes it work? Is there a secret sauce?
Yeah, it's really a combination of two main things. First, it's built to integrate smoothly with the Microsoft platform. So if your organization already uses Microsoft tools, think SharePoint, Microsoft 365, it fits right in. It makes it easier to deploy, easier for people to pick up. It feels familiar. Second, and this is where the intelligent part really comes in, it uses some pretty powerful AI. Specifically natural language processing, or NLP. This isn't just, scanning words. Apperant can actually analyze the contract, understand what they mean, and pull out key insights in real time. And all that info is stored logically, so you can make much smarter, more proactive decisions down the line. Think about it, it's like having a system that doesn't just hold your contracts, but actually understands them.
Actively understands them. Yeah, that sounds like a big step up. And that leads right into this feature they call AI-powered data extraction. Can you unpack that a bit? What does AI-powered really mean here? Is it just a fancy term for keyword searching, or is it doing something more?
Oh, it's definitely doing something more. It's fundamentally different from just basic scanning or keyword searches. This is where the AI really makes a difference. Apperant offers what they call intelligent obligation identification. And it works across all kinds of contracts. We're talking complex commercial deals, grant agreements, specific compliance documents. It handles the variety.
So it's not just finding words like payment or deadline. It actually gets the context, even with tricky legal phrasing.
Exactly. It uses context-aware clause identification. So it understands the surrounding sentences, the intent behind a clause, how different parts of the contract relate, and it's adaptable too. It can handle your standard contract templates, but also those really unique, heavily negotiated agreements. It's kind of like having a super fast paralegal who can read thousands of pages in minutes and flag every single important commitment accurately.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. The material we looked at makes a pretty bold claim. It says, sure, faster processing and reduced errors. Okay, great. But then it says, eliminates manual contract review, reducing hours of legal work to minutes of automated analysis. Wow, that's huge if it actually delivers. What stops more companies from doing this now? Where's the friction?
It's a bold claim, but honestly, it addresses a massive headache for legal and compliance teams. Often the biggest barrier is just the sheer volume of contracts a company has, especially older ones, maybe in different formats. Plus, sometimes there's just inertia, right? Getting people comfortable with new tech in a field that can be quite traditional. But the impact of cutting down that review time from hours, sometimes days, to just minutes, it's profound. Imagine your legal experts, instead of spending all that time manually combing through documents to find, say, every liability clause or payment date, they're suddenly freed up for higher value work. Maybe advising on a complex deal, figuring out risks in a new market, or even proactively finding ways to improve existing contracts. It's a big shift. Think about it. What specific things are you spending hours manually digging out of contracts right now? That's what Apperant targets.
That makes perfect sense. So Apperant uses AI to pull out all this critical data. It understands it, but just having the data isn't enough, right? How does it turn that raw information into something useful, something that helps people make better decisions? Let's talk about the contract insights and analysis part.
Right, exactly. Extraction is step one. Making it actionable is step two. A key thing here is that everything Apperant extracts, every clause, every date, every obligation, is directly linked back to the original source document. So you're looking at a summary of a specific obligation. You can click and instantly see that exact paragraph in the actual contract. It builds trust and makes verification easy. You always know where it came from.
That traceability is crucial, yeah. So you've got this verified data. How do you actually see it? How do you work with it? Is it flexible?
Very flexible. You can use their extensive library of common clause types, things most contracts have. Or, and this is really powerful, you can define and set up your own custom clause types. Things that are unique to your business, your industry, the specific terms you care about. So it really adapts to your world, your language. The insights you get are directly relevant to how your organization operates, not just generic labels.
Okay, so it learns your business. It's not forcing you into its own box. What's the big picture advantage of having that kind of tailored insight readily available?
Strategically, it's huge. It means you can scale up how many contracts you manage without necessarily needing to hire a lot more people just for oversight. Your existing team becomes much more efficient because the routine stuff is automated. Think about a legal team managing, say, 500 contracts, suddenly being able to handle 1,500 without adding headcount, just by cutting out manual work. And maybe even more importantly, it gives leaders, executives, real visibility into the company's commitments. What do we promise to do? Where are the risks? Are we meeting our obligations? They can see the big picture quickly. So yeah, it's not just about finding the data. It's making it easy to understand and act on, right up to leadership level.
That visibility is key. But like you said, knowing is one thing, doing is another. Which brings us nicely to workflow automation and task management. This sounds like the bridge between insight and action.
That's exactly what it is. Apperant lets you design your own post-execution workflows. These aren't just rigid templates. You build them to fit your specific processes. So a workflow might start with the AI extracting the data, then route it for review and validation by a specific person or team, and then maybe go for approval or escalate if needed, all based on your rules.
So it basically guides the process, making sure all the steps happen, the right people are involved. What's the payoff from setting up those automated workflows?
The main benefits are, well, consistency. Things are handled the same way every time. It cuts down manual errors dramatically, which can save you from big problems later. And it just speeds everything up after the contract is signed. And tied into that is the task management piece. You can assign specific tasks like initiating a payment, checking on a deliverable, doing a compliance review, track them, see the status in real time. It makes accountability clear and helps make sure things actually get done on time.
Right, so things don't just fall through the cracks anymore, which happens all the time with complex agreements. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? How much easier would things run if every contract step was automated and tracked like that?
Exactly. From a compliance angle, from a performance angle, it's incredibly valuable. It helps eliminate those bottlenecks where things get stuck waiting for someone. It clarifies who needs to do what and when. Just brings a lot of clarity and, frankly, reduces a lot of stress around managing these things.
Speaking of when, let's talk about staying ahead of the game. Apperant has obligation tracking, alerts, and reminders. Sounds like it takes the job off someone's calendar, or worse, a spreadsheet somewhere.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
It keeps track of all those critical dates, contract renewals, so you don't get caught by surprise or auto-renew something you didn't want to, expiration dates, key deadlines, project milestones. But it's not just tracking. It sends out automated alerts and reminders. And these are customizable, so you get notified about what matters to you with enough time to actually act. It keeps compliance front and center.
So basically, no more 11th hour panic attacks. What kind of specific things can you get alerted about?
Oh, all sorts. Upcoming deliverables, payment due dates, notice periods you need to be aware of. It can track budget details, units, or quantities if those are tied to performance, milestone completions. Pretty much any key date or number in the contract can be set up for monitoring and alerts. And all this information rolls up into dashboards that you can customize to see your workflow, your priorities, at a glance. It really puts you in control proactively.
So what this really means for an organization is you're shifting away from constantly reacting to crises, right? That mad dash when you suddenly realize a deadline is tomorrow. Instead, it's about proactive, informed management. No more surprises.
That's the core transformation, yes. This proactive approach, knowing deadlines are coming, seeing your obligations clearly, it massively reduces compliance risk. Instead of dealing with the fallout of a missed deadline or a compliance breach, you see it coming. You have time to prepare, to make sure everything is handled properly. It's about foresight, not just damage control. And that saves time, stress, and potentially a lot of money.
Okay, so we're tracking everything, getting alerts, staying proactive. Now, how do we learn from all this? How do we know if we're actually doing well? That sounds like where performance reporting and analytics come in.
You got it. It's about closing the loop. Apperant gives you real-time dashboards, and you can build custom views to see exactly what you need. Whether you're managing day-to-day tasks or looking at the big strategic picture, you can also generate detailed reports using fields you choose, so you can really dig into the data, spot trends over time. It helps you move beyond just knowing what happened to understanding why and figuring out what to do next.
So it's not just spitting out data, it's helping you find strategic intelligence. What kind of KPIs, key performance indicators, does it help you track that really matter for the business?
It helps assess things like task performance, are contract-related tasks getting done efficiently, obligation fulfillment, are we meeting our promises, and overall contract health, are our agreements working for us. So, for example, you might use the analytics to see that, say, 80% of your contracts with a certain supplier are consistently missing a specific service level. And maybe that's costing you X dollars a year. That's not just data. That's powerful information you can use to renegotiate, or maybe realize you have a bigger issue with how you structure those deals. It turns reporting from something you do maybe once a quarter into this ongoing feedback loop. Helps you make smarter decisions, continuously improve, so you're not just managing contracts, you're actively improving how you perform against them.
That continuous improvement loop is powerful. Okay, last piece of the puzzle. How does Apperant play with other tools? Companies have existing systems. Let's talk data export and integration.
Right, no system works in isolation these days. Apperant's built with that in mind. You can easily export data out to tools people already use, like Microsoft Excel or Power BI, if you want to do really deep dives or create highly custom visualizations. And it can integrate with other major business systems, think ERPs, CRMs, to allow data to flow back and forth. The goal is to break down those data silos that often get in the way of seeing the whole picture.
And what caught my eye here was the specific mention of QuickBooks integration. That feels very targeted.
It is, yeah. QuickBooks is obviously huge, especially for small and medium-sized businesses. So integrating directly with it tackles a really common pain point for a lot of potential users. That integration is designed to make payment tracking and financial reconciliation much, much smoother. It means payment obligations from Apperant can sync automatically with QuickBooks. You get real-time updates on payment status without double entry. Ultimately, it simplifies financial reporting, makes it more accurate, and really helps when it comes to audit time. It takes a big load off the finance team. So, like you said, Apperant isn't trying to be another isolated system. It's designed to connect with and enhance the tools you already rely on.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture. We've walked through how Apperant uses intelligent automation to really change the game for post-contract management, moving away from those manual, error-prone ways towards something much more efficient, much more insight-driven. It seems to deliver on making administration easier while also boosting business performance, helping you stay on top of everything with those alerts, dashboards, and reports.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think beyond just the efficiency gains, as important as they are. How could a system like this fundamentally shift the strategic value of contract management in your organization? Could it turn it from something seen mainly as an administrative cost center into, well, maybe an engine for growth, something that identifies opportunities, something that proactively shields you from risk? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What untapped potential hidden insights, growth opportunities might be sitting inside your existing contracts right now, just waiting for intelligent automation to unlock it?
That's a great question to end on. It really makes you reconsider contracts not just as legal documents, but as active business assets. If you manage them smartly, they can actually help drive things forward. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you feel well-informed, maybe even a bit inspired to look at your own post-contract processes in a new light. We'll catch you next time.